What is going on? Why is what is going on? Why is what is going on? Why is all right? We have technical difficulties. All right, we have technical difficulties. All right, we have technical. All right, there we go. I solved it. I solved it. Hello, everyone. I was trying to do the cool intro with the Farnswoggle P. Horsetoot song, and I screwed it up. How's everyone doing? I did post a tweet in the chat. Go ahead and pop on over to your Twitter. I'm actually a little pissed off. Like, what's going on here? I tried to do Twitter Blue, and it says Farnswoggle P. Horsetoot already smashed the like. I'm sure he already smashed the like on the YouTube video, and coming through like a champ on the Twitter. See if we can get advanced answers in here. You know what? Now don't cast the vote yet. Don't cast the vote yet. I know some people are. We got to get a poll going. Let's see. Start a poll. Invest answers. Answers. Clown. So we're going to be looking at a video he did where he's postulated whether like Bitcoin can last 20 years or not. I want to react to it. It's been a few days since I've seen it. I have some preconceptions of what my reaction were at the time. I wonder if those will change at all as I get another fresh look at it. We're going to do that. But as I was saying, man, I was trying to get Twitter Blue. Do I already have Twitter Blue? See, when I try to subscribe, it says I'm not eligible. I don't understand why. What the hell's going on here? This is just unacceptable, Elon. I used to like you. Availability. New subscriptions to Twitter Blue are only available in the US. That's me. Newly created Twitter accounts will not be able to subscribe to Twitter Blue. I've had my account since 2013. We may also impose waiting periods. They must be in a waiting period. That's some bullshit. I don't know why they don't want to take my money. I don't know. I'll kind of just chat for a while. I kind of screwed you guys and gals around. I said I was going to start at 4:30, and then I had a firewall cut over, and the firewall. I honestly, I even forgot I had a firewall cut over. So I was doing the firewall cut over, and it was going really slow. We were having some problems. It's weird. I had to convert a layer 2 point-to-point. No, I'm sorry, a layer 3 point-to-point to a layer 2, change some SVIs, fix some routing, la-di-da-di. But I actually tore through that pretty quick. I thought it was going to take me, up until like 5:30, but I actually got done at like 4:35. But I'd already released the hounds and said I was going to delay it to 5, and then I'm just like, screw it. I'll cut it back to 4:45. I got a burp. That, as they say, ladies and gentlemen, was a nice out. All right, so we'll give a little time for people to get here, just in case. I don't need Retro. Retro probably won't even show up anyway. His ass is probably playing that dumbass predecessor game. That's fine. I won't hold it against him. I'd probably rather be playing Rust right now, if I'm being honest with you. I'm kidding. I love hanging out and doing this. Bitcoin's still holding up at the 17,800 level. Pretty impressive considering that blast off this morning in the NASDAQ didn't hold. When we were looking at it in the morning, the NASDAQ was up like 400 points. I think it only ended up like 100 and some. So we have the CPI data tomorrow. Will be interesting to see how it plays out. Or not CPI. We have the Fed decision tomorrow. The bond market is pretty much guaranteed it's going to be a 50-point hike. I would be really surprised if it's more. And I'm not even like people just quick to assume that if it's 75 points, the market's going to tank, and if it's 25 points, the market's going to go crazy, right? So You don't know, dude. Like, you'd be you'd be surprised how like having information ahead of time really doesn't matter most of the time. You because you don't know how the market's going to react, right? But anyway, we'll see how it plays out. I still think, as I said numerous times, we're going to go lower. We're going to go lower before it gets higher. Uh, what's his face? Meet Kevin starting to flip again. So he's starting to get the bull rally caps, the rally hats out again. I mean, he needs to, right? Like, who launches a stupid ETF in a bear market? He needs his little PP ETF. You know what? Is that thing trading? I wonder if that thing's trading on Tastyworks. And I know Meet Kevin knows what Tastyworks is because I've seen him wear a Tastyworks shirt. So is PP on here? I don't think it made the news. So it. Oh my goodness! I can't believe this. Title ETF Meet Kevin pricing power. Is this a low point in the stock market? Can you imagine the Nostradamus currency blend? That's what we need to get going, right? 99% Cardano. One person has already called Invest Answers a clown. You haven't even seen the video yet. Before we get to the video, I will tell you, even if I were to vote him as a clown, it would only be on this particular video and his short-sightedness, his blinders he has blinders on when it comes to Solana. But the dude's I watch a lot of his videos, very intelligent lad. He's been in the game for a long time, knows equities and real estate. Smart bro. Definitely a smart dude. I think he's a little he has some ways of how he values crypto, and I don't hate some of his thesis and the way he looks at it, but I just think some of it's a bit misguided. And hey, maybe time will tell that I'm the idiot, right? We already know I'm the clown, right? But it's going to be up to Invest Answers on this one. Again, the video is regarding whether or not. Oh man, you know what? He does some Cardano stuff in there too. I think we might have to get to that part too. So let's go ahead and get going in the video. My apologies. I mean, you should have had the notification bell on. You know what I'm saying? And I don't need to hear Retro's excuses. So let's get on to it. Invest. Who is that sexy mofo? You like?
Welcome into.
Oh, shut up. You like the? God dang it! Now, you like the thumbnail? I put clown shoes on him. All right. Will Bitcoin make it through another 20 years? I would like to, man. I want that to be a poll too. We'll save that for tomorrow morning or something.
Hey everybody, it is Monday. Bitcoin will no longer exist in 20 years. What is your take on that? Well, I've been thinking a lot. Will it exist in the year 2140, the year 2100? Well, a few of us will be around by then. We'll see. But let's look at some things that are happening that all dovetail into the potential success and future of Bitcoin. First of all, one of the concerns I do have is Bitcoin power consumption. And as you can see here, this is the increasing level of electricity that Bitcoin is gobbling up from Bitcoin Pro magazine. Again, thank you to Sanjay for sharing. If you look here, you can see as the hash rate goes up, as the number of miners increase, so does the amount of electricity that's burned. And that is not sustainable. That gives me pause. That is a concern of mine. And also, if you look at the total amount of global electricity used to mine Bitcoin is 0.42% of all the electricity in the world, which is a little bit disconcerting. and it cannot continue like this. So something has to give. So in addition to that, cash is ending. The world is going completely digital. Digital IDs and central bank digital currencies are coming thick, fast, and furious. And meanwhile, crypto is ramping up. It's like, I always like to try and identify things that are kind of moving in correlation. Jabba, you rock. Thank you so much for furry friends, of course. But everything is kind of colliding at the same time. Everybody talks about the fourth turning, the great reset, all that type of stuff.
Someone just gave him $100 and €100. His ass don't need it. He's talking about, like, I think he owns yachts and shit. I mean, come on, bro. Where's my €100, Ricky? Kurt?
And maybe, just maybe, crypto is here for exactly that purpose. And that is a big, big plus on the crypto side. Now, let's look at historic fiat lifespan. You can
I will say real quickly, he touched on the power consumption. I agree with him for the most part. It can't continue like that, but I don't think it will continue like that. I'm not even going to get it. He may even touch on it a bit, like how much. I think he does, but like banking in general consumes a ridiculous. I'm not even going to get into that argument. I think Bitcoin itself has been bringing about a lot of innovation, how to get clean energy. I think that will continue, and I think we need to focus on the half glass full, not the half glass empty. So we just, whether it's regulation or pressure or just people that are mining, corporations that are mining Bitcoin, keep that in mind. More geothermal, more hydroelectric. Maybe by the after Bitcoin does make it past 20, 30 years, it's getting some of that cool fusion that we were talking about this morning.
see, the world is built on a house of debt, and historically, fiat currencies have a maturity date, i.e., they expire. Now, world reserve currencies have shifted over time. Portugal, 1450 to 1530. Hello to anybody in Spain and Portugal out there. This is for you guys. Spain lasts 110 years, 1530 to 1640. Netherlands, 80 years. Good luck. I don't know what's happening with the soccer, but I know that certain teams are still playing. Sorry about the United Kingdom. France, 95 years. UK, 105 years. The US, you could argue, is 122 years old, which will make it the longest lasting fiat. But you have to also take into account that the US dollar in its current state is only alive since 1970, 1971, something like that. So that is where we are now. And it comes to the end of big credit cycles. They go hand in hand with political shifts. And we're seeing a lot of transitions around political shifts. And this is a big thank you to Thomas Kolbe for this chart. So lots of stuff are happening. There's a lot of fun over the weekend about the WEF trying to find a way to eliminate all pets, domestic pets, because they believe they are too much of a toll on the environment.
Hey, you know what? I'm probably going to get in a lot of trouble, but I didn't know the WEF is trying to get rid of domestic pets because it's too much of a problem. I mean, talk about your hot topic. I mean, they ain't wrong. They ain't wrong. I know Kurt's got a dog, a beautiful, cute dog that he loves, but man, domestic pets. I'm not saying we need to get rid of them, but definitely we need to tighten it. There's two little cute dogs just running around the streets in my neighborhood right now, right? One of them's gonna get run over, right? Plus, look, I can go on about this, but I know there's gonna be some pet lovers out there. They're gonna I'm not saying get rid of pets. I love pets, but domestic pets are a huge burden, and it will get worse and worse, or it could get worse and worse, right? Well, I mean, human beings are a huge burden, right? All right, I'm sorry. You guys got me out, guys and gals, got me off the rails here.
It's craziness, but that is part of the change that is coming. Fiat is going to end. The question is when. Now, my conclusion to your question, first of all, will it make it to 30 years old? I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all.
All right, he just said he's not sure if Bitcoin's going to make it to 30 years or not. It will either wither or it will thrive. Plenty, it will either wither or will thrive. I agree with that statement, but he's like, I'm not sure, right? I am sure. There's no doubt in my mind that Bitcoin's going to be here in 30 years. And in fact, if you don't believe it's going to be here in 30 years, you probably shouldn't be in Bitcoin, right? Unless you're just a momentum day trader, which I'm not, right? And I know 30 years is a long time, but I think he's just got too much of that investor mindset, looking at like stocks and such. Fortune 500 companies come and goes, and et cetera, et cetera. But man, this is a whole different way of doing store of value. Kids these days, right? They want to put their brand on the world, right? So they feel like their identity. We talked about identity a little bit this morning, pronouns and this and that. So these millennials and all these young hoppers really identify with Bitcoin. To them, and there's a lot of like learned behavior and like influence when it comes to that, but again, they want to make their mark, and they want to do that through cryptocurrency. Stocks, everything's going to be tokenized in the future. Stocks, everything. So it is all going to cryptocurrency. There's no doubt in my mind, unless some revolutionary breakthrough thing comes along soon. But I mean, we've had tech for decades. We've had the internet, started with DARPA, universities, this and that, for decades. Right. And we've had a lot of innovation in decades, but we have not. And even blockchain itself had been around, I think, since the 90s. But this whole innovation of cryptocurrency and Web3 and all this stuff, and it is a major revolutionary breakthrough. And I don't see anything in the coming future where that changes, unless like quantum computing. Like, who knows what kind of innovation is going to come from quantum computing, though. So that is one thing. Yeah, that Tommy Gilmore is a real asshole. Ricky, how you doing, brother? All right, let's continue.
It will either wither or thrive. Now, for it to thrive, there has to be plentiful renewable energy is needed, and many people.
He says it's impossible to forecast anything over 5 to 10 years. I don't know. I think it's pretty easy to see that Bitcoin should be a higher price than it is now in 10 years, and I think it will be here for decades. I don't really see, again, it is a technology, but I don't really see. It's a really simple technology. It does what it needs to do. It has amazing utility. The fact that you can store your value off, you can take custody of your coins. You don't have to. There's pros and cons to everything, man. It's a huge responsibility. If you lose your keys, you get wrench attacked. You got to think of everything that's going on. Like, you may not be comfortable with storing all your money in self-custody, maybe just some of it, right? But the ability to take so much value offline, away from banks, it's a diversification like nothing else. Well, I mean, gold, kinda. You can do the same thing with like precious metals and other like, I don't know, basketball cards, Pokemon cards. Like, there's a lot of things that you could consider an investment. It's kind of a store of value, classic car, put that shit in. But there's nothing like this where you could put it offline, away from banks, completely away from all, like, basically all attack vectors. And then you can also transfer that wealth anywhere around the world in seconds to minutes, right? Depending on whether Bitcoin Lightning ever comes about and things like that. So, yeah, I do think it's going to be around. Gold has been around, I don't know, since before our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was born, right? Gold's been around for thousands of years. I'm pretty sure they had that shit in Egypt and Rome, Aztec, Meccans, who knows, man? That thing has been a store of value for what's thousands? I know there's decades, centuries. What is it? Millennia? It's millennia, right? So gold's been around a long time. Gold, Bitcoin is going to be the new gold, right? And it's that the fact that gold has been around such a long time, it's why so many people have just had that ingrained in them that they don't like it because you can't touch it. Tell you what, I love it because you can't touch it, right? I love it because I've mentioned this before, but man, I used to get all pissed off because it took too long for all these places to start taking ATM cards. I didn't want to carry cash around. I just wanted to swipe it to the game, you know? All right.
Including Elon Musk and others, believe that the cost of energy will go to zero in the near future. We have the technology, it just needs to be deployed.
I agree with that.
That's the good news. We've got that big solar power thing in the sky that runs almost every day. We just need a lot of batteries to support it. We also need a lot of adoption for Bitcoin and crypto, but there are enemies at the gate. There are a lot of people that want it to fail, and maybe a big part of everything that's happened over the last couple of months has been planned to take crypto down. So we'll see. Now, the other thing I will mention, though, it's impossible to forecast anything beyond 5 to 10 years. So going out 20 years, none of us know. There could be better baby. Bitcoin. There could be a Bitcoin that works on proof of stake. We don't want that, but that has been discussed, etc. So we'll see. I believe there's a very good chance it will be around in 10 years.
I agree with that.
And when it is, it'll be a lot more valuable than it is today.
I agree with that.
A couple of things I want to add, though, to this thread is the Bitcoin mining reward and supply. My whole thesis, and the reason I got hooked on Bitcoin in the first place, is because it's so hard. And here, you mentioned the next 20 years, that goes out to 2040. This chart here shows you that the supply basically flatlines from 2040 onwards. What that looks like is this. This is the mining reward in the year 2040. I didn't highlight it, but it's right there in the second column at the very top. The mining reward is 0.19 Bitcoin per block. And typically every year there's about 210,000 blocks rewarded. That means only 39,900 approximately Bitcoin will be mined in the year 2040, and none will be mined beyond 2140. So it's interesting when you look at the math, and it's uncanny. I always try to find patterns and numbers. We're talking the year 2140, and that's 40,000 is the number of Bitcoin that will be mined in the year 2040. I think that's uncanny. And of course, 100 years later is when all the mining will end in the year 2140. So a lot of 40s here on this. So just food for thought. Let's hang in there. Let's see what happens.
But there's a lot of 40s in Bitcoin, everyone.
So will it make it another 20 years? It'll thrive or die. That's the situation. So hope that helps. Next question from Smoking Joe. Would you say your thesis and conviction in Ethereum has become stronger or weaker over the last 12 months? It's such an interesting question because I got into ETH early, as you all know, and I haven't been accumulating. I have been doing a little bit of swapping.
All right, so that was it on Bitcoin, but he does go into this interesting thing. I forgot about this, so I am actually pretty excited. He goes into this modular versus, what does he call it? Modular, monolithic, right? Blockchains. I think he really digs this because Solana's a monolithic blockchain. I really didn't realize that. Anyway, let's go. This is a really good conversation.
And my plan was always to hedge with a potential hedge killer. And that takes us to this big point here. And that is, what is best? Is a modular blockchain best or a monolithic blockchain? So modular blockchains are kind of like Ethereum with all the layer 2s. And monolithic are things like Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum version 1, etc. Now, the drawbacks of modular, this is where it gets a bit tricky. So security, unlike monolithic chains, a modular chain, all the little pieces built on top of it, cannot guarantee its own security qualities. And if the security layer, which handles a consensus and data availability, is not effective, then the modular chain risks failure. Now, the second part is complexity. Like, logically speaking, the more stuff you bolt onto something, the more points of failure there are, and that introduces new attack surfaces, areas of complexity, etc. So, for example, Ethereum's data sharding plan relies on data availability, sampling to ensure nodes on one shard don't withhold data. And similarly, execution layers must require certain complex mechanisms such as fraud proofs, validity proofs, security layers, etc. And it's just, for me, it just sounds way too complex. Now, the third part is token value, and I grapple with this all the time, is if you look at, say, Matic versus Ethereum, what's doing the most business? Where is all the action happening? And how come, since Matic does so much, it's trading at such a small fraction of Ethereum? And that's the problem. Some modular chains may be unable to attract value to their native tokens due to limited applications. And this is kind of the whole tricky piece. So if like I always add up Ethereum and all the market caps of all the layer twos, and it becomes very sizable very quick. But the question is, where is the value add? And this takes me back. And there's a second question, which will follow this question, which will answer some of those issues too. But let's look at, this is a list of some of the layer twos and their different functions. And I'm not even talking about Matic here. Matic has their 8 own use cases for different tools that they have. 1 or 2 are live and the rest is in development. But here, many of these projects, you may know Arbitrum, Optimism, Boba Network, ZK Sync, Loopring, Aztec, they all have different technologies. Some are young, some are experimental. Some have years of development since 2018 behind them. And all of them are designed to help Ethereum scale. But the question is, how decentralized are they? How much can you trust them? And always do your own research if you decide, if you're uncomfortable with any risks involved. In fact, there's a link called L2Beat, which is a great way to do comprehensive risk assessment for all these different assets. But you see here, back to your question, ETH has become a complex basket of offerings. Itself, running at 15 TPS isn't going to get you out of bed, but it needs all these other things to make it run for all these different use cases. That takes me back. Do we go modular or monolithic? I like things that are simple. Therefore, I would, in a perfect world, if I was engineering something, I'd like it to be monolithic. It's like the way I like companies to have integrated supply chains and vertical integration. One kind of throat to choke, not tons of others. But I've been debating myself for the last 2 years. So I play both. I don't know what's going to win. ETH has the first mover advantage. It's the gorilla in the space. It owns DeFi, but competition is rising.
So here, I pretty much agree with everything he says. I think it's smart that he's playing both, but I think in the end, he's wrong about and I even agree with him. I would want it to be KISS, keep it simple, stupid, keep it monolithic, but modular, it's going to require modular to be successful. Bitcoin excluded, right? All Bitcoin needs to do is be a store of value. I really don't want it to do anything else, right? That's all I need Bitcoin to do. Lightning will be cool. They can make that shit fast, right? But there's been a lot of problems with that. There's concerns that might not even really come to... it's technology. They'll get it figured out. But all these concerns are right. Centralization, security, complexity. But guys and gals, we're talking something like they'll talk about TPS and how much faster this is than Visa. Dude, cryptocurrency is a stupid name. It's not a currency. It's going to be the way, if most, if not all, data is handled in the future. So one monolithic chain is not going to be able to handle everything that's on it. It's going to require layer 2 scaling. Even Cardano or Ethereum hitting these 100,000, a million TPS they're talking about, that's not going to be enough to handle the load with the population rising and the amount of things coming online, right? So it's going to require scaling. And of course, he's like, can you trust this project? How central? Well, dude, there's a reason why it feels like when you're investing in a cryptocurrency, when you invest in stocks, are there not concerns? Do you not things you need to do diligence on, right? You have to understand the risks, right? This is just a different data set that you have to do the analysis on. So, and then, there are things you need to learn. We've learned, right? And he talks about this all the time too. Stay away from bridges, stay away from wrapped assets, right? Well, when it comes to bridging and things like that, so, I'm not real keen to hop on to some layer two solution like Mokamada over on Cardano because I don't want to, like, that shit's brand new. It's ERC20 risk, it's bridge risk. I'm tapping out on that shit right now. Just like, I covered a lot of the Binance FUD this morning, but man, that shit's really picking up steam. I think it's still bullshit, but I mean, people are buying into it. People are taking their money off the exchanges. So, I think they're going to survive. But like I said, I took my money off there. I had some cash on there to trade. I don't keep my crypto on any exchanges right now, period. So, and I trust the hell out of Coinbase. I trust the hell out of Gemini. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in this environment? I encourage you, like, again, I would ignore the FUD. And if you need to keep money on there because you're trading with it, just understand, right. You got to be nimble these days. All right. I don't know that I want to continue with this part. Conclusion on ETH, blah blah blah. Let's hear what he says about Solana, Alameda, and he does some ADA stuff. This is where I really start, like, up so far. He's getting a crown for me, but when he gets into Sol and ADA stuff, even though I disagree with him on a few things, we start hitting clown territory for me down here. So let's get to Alameda pumping Sol.
They most probably did pump Solana. And but they did it before there was true adoption. So much development has happened in the last year on the Solana chain.
But they did it before the true adoption. I want some facts. I want some evidence. I want some evidence on that one. I'm not saying it's not true. But sources on, is the source just your brain?
Chain that it is uncanny, including the amount of daily active users, over 1,100 dApps, etc. And to get true potential value, I like to look at relative market caps, daily active users, transactions per.
Does anyone know? This is something I need to figure out. I just haven't. I need to figure out how to. We've been saying form the beginning, Solus monolithic, and they. Ricky's never gonna leave me alone with the Solana foam. I really need does Dune do what I need? Like, I need something that shows me how many daily active users. Like, I want to know, like, how the network health, how much TPS it's getting, things like that. Is it over? I want some. Do I have to go buy some expensive ass like on-chain analyzing tool?
Per second, value transfer, tokenomics, decentralization, all that stuff goes into the pot. But I'm just going to look at relative valuations here because this is important and we'll see who wins the day. So first of all, if we look at the daily active users of Solana versus Ethereum, you can see Solana is down a bit, 379,000, 380,000, a little bit higher than Polygon, 360, and Ethereum, 572, which is good. But remember, Polygon can run a lot faster than Ethereum, so why isn't the transactions a lot higher? Because there's room for adoption. Cardano's in there at 49.8K, which is almost the same as Near Protocol. Avalanche 35K and Aptos 21.5K. And that's kind of the lay of the land of the top layer one chain.
Honestly, someone's lying here. And I'm not saying he's lying. Maybe where he's getting the data is lying. But I'm pretty sure Cardano active users have been going, wallets have been going up like crazy. And I need to figure out how to look some of this stuff up myself. Invest Answers, I hit you up in a tweet. Watch this video. Tell me what tools you're using, even though you might have got called a clown. How many people voted? 3 votes? All 3 votes called him a clown? Man, you guys are brutal.
Let's do a little exercise for fun.
Yeah, this is where it gets fun.
Let's match. Imagine Solana has the same market.
I can't even follow the gorilla math this guy's doing right now.
Cap that Cardano has. What would the price of Solana be today?
Let's match the.
And
if Solana.
it had the same market cap, and Cardano reached its all-time high again, and Solana followed it.
Are you kidding me? If Solana had the same market cap and it went to a new... First of all, there was a time not too long ago where Solana had a higher market cap than Cardano. And someone, I won't mention any names, someone says Cardano will never beat it in market cap again. Again, I won't mention any names, Invest Answers, but someone said Solana will never lose to Cardano in market cap ever again in the history of Solana. So like this exercise...
What would the price be?
So
the first exercise today, given I think Solana's trading a little over $13, the market cap, based on the Cardano market cap, if we were to match, Solana would trade at $29.61. And the all-time high for Cardano would drag the Solana price up to $351.
A month ago, before the FTX collapse,
now, remember,
bitch.
The all-time high before was
$30.
And if you look at this chart carefully, the light green line is Cardano and blue is Solana. And that would be where it would stretch to if it did follow. Remember, the green line is not the price of Solana or the price of Cardano. It's the market cap of Cardano with, given the number of tokens, the relative market price of Solana. So I hope you get that. Now next question, we'll do a couple of these. If Solana reaches 10% of the ETH market cap,
I don't hate this
that would take the price of Solana today to $42.74, which is nearly 3x from where it is now.
It's not worth
and the all-time high would be $188. In fact, if you look at this chart historically, the blue is Solana, the yellow is 10% of ETH market cap, and you can see the market cap of Solana was more than 10% of the ETH market cap back in November, September, and even December 2021. So it's been up there before. Can it go there again? I think so.
No. It's going to zero, bro.
Manipulation, I think that is a very fair valuation. It's going to zero, bro. I left Cardano on there as well. You can see Cardano run very fast back in August, September of 2021 as well.
It's a good chain, my friends.
Now let's do one more exercise. Let's go to 20% of ETH.
It's not worth 10%. Why should we do the 20%?
Fair valuation, given the amount of activity, the users, the transactions, etc., etc. And let's see where this would take us. So Sol reaching 20% of ETH market cap would take the price today to $85.58, and the all-time high would be $377, way up there. That's the actual red line here on the chart. So what happens if you bring all these together to get to the answer to your question? Just zoom out for a second. Assuming these other coins go back to all-time highs, and assuming that Solana continues on its growth trajectory, then I believe these are possible. And this is an average of averages.
Well, was he high? Does he get like drunk? Does he drink a bunch of wine and start like just theory crafting? Like, what if? Give me a break, dude. Like this, like I've been there. This is the shit I used to do early in my channel. What if? Like, you notice I don't really talk dumb shit like that anymore. Like, oh, what if Harmony One did this? It'd be blah, blah, blah. What if, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? I try to keep us out of fantasy land these days. First of all, I really don't. I know Solana people are going to be like, oh, you're just a hater. No, I have preached for videos and videos and videos why I think Solana is going to zero. And there was a time I want to invest in Solana. This was a time before I knew Sam Bankman-Fried was a fraud, right? I didn't know what they were doing to pump the coin up. I knew they were marketing, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to invest in it. And I said it a million times. Solana is really, really, really good at marketing. They're really good at getting the youth to buy into this shit. They're doing things like giving away sunglasses at Lollapalooza, NFTs. This is like early, right? And I don't even know if Sam Bankman-Fried was involved then, but you know, so something happened, and then Solana, a lot of investors are like a huge VC money, and Sam Bankman and Alameda, and like I don't know the interminglings of how all that budded out, but they continue to just like buy the media shit. Like I've seen the guerrilla campaigns against Cardano, and it was it was very easy to see that it was coming from Solana. Again, the story I tell you where I was in the CNFT Discord and there's like 2 or 3 people for hours. I'm not exaggerating. Like I would come back 4 hours later and they're just still going ham. Solana's great, Cardano's shit. Is basically they were that, and it worked. A lot of people got frustrated and left. Some people believed it, right? You know for a fact now that they have media outlets in their pocket. They control stories, right? That right there is just like not good when you really look at the hard facts that I brought to you about Solana. We've done due diligence on their team. You can't find shit. One guy has a LinkedIn profile that doesn't even exist, and the other guy, yeah, apparently he's got some credentials, but I never see this guy talk, any articles, anything. There's no roadmap, right? All you ever hear about Solana is how fast it is. Tell me something else great about Solana other than how fast it is when the chain's not down. How fast it is. And again, my sources tell me that those numbers are bullshit. Oh, Solana didn't go down and it hit 400,000 TPS. I want, based on what metric? Show me the proof, bitch. That's what I'm saying, right? So, I don't know. You guys got me on a rampage. Anyway, that's my clowner crown video on Invest Answers. Again, I do like this guy a lot. I am kind of picking on him a little bit with this whole like theory crafting at the end. It's kind of stupid, but you know, he's a math geek, so I'm not going to hold that against him. Again, I do think he has the blinders on too much when it comes to Solana. And again, I value this guy's opinion quite a bit most of the time, but I do think the way he looks at chains and he does his little valuation on them, you know, his system may work for the most part, but he's going to get some things wrong. And I truly believe like he puts too much faith into like how important TPS is, right? It's not as important as you might think right now. So just because Ethereum only has 15 TPS right now and Cardano is whatever it is, but it's scaling quickly, right? I wouldn't worry about that too much. The adoption is a big thing. So as the adoption comes in, you know, that could cause more problems. But, you know, we got at least another year or so before like another big bull run here. And hopefully Cardano's got some Hydra shit going on. And I don't know what Solana's doing. And I really don't know what a lot of these other chains do. And the only reason they got the adoption is because they were giving away money. Come yield farm, we'll give you money. We'll incentivize it. I don't know if Solana did that. I don't think they needed to because they just paid, you know, they went a different route, but Avalanche did that, Near did that. All the other places did that. Cardano's TVL is growing right now in a bear market without incentivization. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Anyway, I'll be back. 6:30 a.m. PST. Be there. You're in effing square. Hit that like button. Go hit my tweet. Like that shit. Love you all. And peace.